Good morning and welcome to the farm today, guys. We have another video for you today. You can kind of see what it's about already, but first I wanted to say a huge thank you to you guys for 800 subscribers. Wow, we didn't think we were ever going to hit 800 anytime soon, and with everybody being home lately due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our subscribers have been climbing, so thank you so much. What we're going to do today is it's actually time for us to start planting some of our seeds. Now, we live in an area where we have a very short growing season. We're in area 4B, 5A. We're right on the border, so the temperature can go super cold or super hot, but it's definitely a short growing season. So we're going to start our plants inside today, give them a bit of a start before we move them outside, and hopefully at that time we won't get any more snow, because as of 2 days ago we got snow here on the 10th of May, which is kind of crazy. It's still cold enough that we're actually still having fires. Now, it's not running all day like it was in the middle of December, but we still need a fire during the day to heat up the house and keep it warm. Hopefully the sun's going to come out soon and we won't need it anymore. We also have another secret project we're working on. I'll give you a quick glimpse of it right now, but only for a second. That's coming in another video, so make sure you stick around on the channel, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification so you get notified when we upload that video, because you're definitely going to want to see it. What we're going to do here with these seeds, though, is we're going to start them inside, and we have a little hack for you guys so you don't have to go to the garden store and buy all those pots to do your starters. We'll show you a little trick that we're going to use, something that you probably already have around the house. These are the seeds that we have left over from last year that we either saved because we had too many and didn't need to plant them all, or ones that we were waiting to try until this year, and a few that we were actually given from a friend of mine, Brenda, and some that we saved ourselves. These are from our pumpkins last year that we had, and we saved some of our peas as well, so we can add those to our growing as we want to grow a ton of them this year. We did order more seeds from Bessie Seeds. We're waiting for those to come. Of course, with everything going on right now, the mail and things are a little bit slower, so we're patiently waiting for those. If you're on the East Coast, Bessie's is amazing to order from. They have a great selection. They're really fast shipping, and their customer service is awesome. We also got all of our strawberry plants from them last year, and those did great for their first year, and they're already coming back, so I'm super happy about those. But come take a look, and I'll show you the seeds that we're going to grow this year. So these are some of our tomato seeds. These ones we got from MI Gardener. Now, they are great for ordering seeds from. All of their packages are 99 cents no matter what you order, and we had no issues getting them across the border. They do say on their site that they could possibly be seized, but we had absolutely zero issues. The shipping was really fast. So we have our tomatoes. We have some peppers. Peppers didn't do really well for us last year. We got one tiny little green pepper, and we thought we'd give it a shot this year. We're going to grow them in a different place. Maybe the soil's a bit better, a little more water maybe this year, and see if we can get them to grow. Same with our broccoli. We have some beans and peas. Now, these are going to be growing on our trellis that we have over our front raised garden beds, and everything else we're going to be planting out in our back field that we have that hasn't been worked in a couple years, but we're going to till it up, and hopefully these will grow really well. We have some lettuce, some cabbage. This is going to be grown right for the chickens. That's what I'm going to grow that for. That's going to be a treat for the chickens if it grows. We have some cauliflower. Brussels sprouts grew really well last year. They were huge. We got a ton of Brussels sprouts off them, so I'm hoping these do well again this year. Everybody loved the beets last year, so I'm going to try and grow a bunch of those. We didn't have enough of them last year. We only had about 4 or 5 plants. Definitely wasn't enough, so we're going to grow a whole bunch more. And our favorite that grew the best by far was our carrots last year. Now, this is going to take up an entire raised bed in the front yard. And I have my purple carrots, which were the favorite. We have regular orange carrots and the rainbow carrots as well. And just for fun, to attract some bees, we have a bunch of sunflowers. These sunflowers were gifted to me from a friend, Brenda. And then we have some from MI Gardener. And we're just going to randomly sprinkle them around the farm and see what pops up. One thing that we really wanted to grow on the farm and we're kind of disappointed about was melons. Now, we have all kinds of packages of melons here, honeydew, watermelons, some tiger melons, But unfortunately, our growing season here is not long enough. Some of these need 110 days to full maturity, while our entire growing season is barely 90 days. So even if we did start these inside, which we tried last year, they just don't have enough heat to grow big enough to actually harvest, which is a little disappointing. So I have all these packages of seeds, not quite sure what to do with them. I could maybe send them to some friends that live in hotter areas. Maybe they could grow some melons for me and enjoy them on camera. I don't know. But we're going to take our seeds that we're starting now, which today we're just going to be starting some of our tomato seeds and some of our broccoli, and I think maybe the peppers too. We might start those today and get them growing inside on a shelf using our trick that we're going to show you today. What we're going to use for planting our seeds today is these milk cartons. Now I've been saving these up for probably the last 6-7 months so that we could start our seeds in these. The yogurt containers we found last year just were too small. It didn't give the roots a good base. They didn't grow nice and thick like we wanted. So we're going to give them some more room. We're going to use these milk containers. Now, we like Northumberland milk here. This is what we get in New Brunswick. Back home we were used to Dairyland milk. Way different, but definitely this is our favorite here, so we buy a lot of it. Of course, in the future, once we have our milk goats, hopefully, we won't have to buy as much milk. But until the girls are old enough to breed and give us babies, this is what we buy. And in order to use these over recycling, good for the planet, we're going to use these milk containers. So they're already all washed and rinsed out. I did that when I stored them, so they're not gross or stinky or anything. But I'm just going to finish cutting all the tops off them, and then we can fill them with dirt and start getting our seeds planted inside the containers. So I've cut off all the tops from our containers. They're all rinsed out again just to make sure that there's no dust or anything in them. And I'm going to poke some drainage holes in the bottoms. Just took my scissors and poked a couple holes in it, and we're going to set them into our black plastic trays that we used last year, just so that the plants don't flood. Just going to use my scissors. Now these we're going to fill up with some dirt that we had to buy locally. Hopefully over the next few years, as we're building our compost piles and turning them, we'll have our own good compost dirt we can use. But for now, we're lucky enough to be able to buy dirt locally that is made right here in New Brunswick. So that's always a good thing, to support local farmers and businesses when you can, and we try and do that as much as possible. I'm going to get all these drainage holes done, and then we're going to fill them up with dirt and we'll put some seeds in them. Last year when we were growing everything on our racks in our kitchen, we wrote what was in each tray on the lid, but that kind of wore off after a bit, and when we took the lids off and the plants got too tall for them, we kind of just had to guess what everything was. Some things are really easy to tell apart, like the tomatoes, super easy. We knew what those were. Tomatoes look and smell different than the other plants. But this year, what I'm going to do, rather than having to write on every single container or put a stick in, all of my tomatoes are one size, and I wrote tomato just on one of them. These are going to be my cherry tomatoes. They're all taller. I wrote on one. And my broccoli is going to have a little notch cut in it, and I wrote on one. So that way, there's no mistaking. We know exactly what's in each container with just looking at them. That's going to be the best way for us to keep track of what it is that's actually growing. I'm going to go ahead now and start filling these up with dirt. I'm going to fill them about 3/4 full of dirt, put my seed in, and they should be good to go. I'm going to fill these about 3/4 full. And I'm going to pack it down and put one more cup in to be able to put my seed on. Now I'm only putting one seed in here. I know lots of people put multiple seeds and then thin them out after. I don't want to have to do that. And if I don't see anything growing in it within the next week or so, I'll put a new seed in there and see if that grows. I don't want to have to try and split them apart, and I want to make sure each seed has enough room to grow nice and big. You want thick stalks and short plants for when you plant them outside. The taller they are, the weaker they are. So that's about how much dirt we're going to put in there. And I just poke my hole in. I'll drop my seed in the middle and just cover it over. In the center. And just like that. And then once we get them on the trays, we'll give everything a good water. Now I know a lot of people buy fancy grow lights and shelves and stuff to grow their plants. We found last year, as long as the house is kept at a comfortable temperature, it doesn't get too cold, and they get a lot of light from our windows here, that our plants actually grew really well and they started really fast. We had no problem with them. I'm pretty sure if we didn't get hit by that late frost last year that we would have had a great garden season last year. It was a little bit disappointing, but hoping to make up for it this year for sure. All of our cartons are now full of dirt and our seeds. These are our regular tomatoes. We have cherry tomatoes here, and we started some of our broccoli. Now this is just a very small amount of our plants that we started today. It's a good start, but we do probably have twice as much of this as we're gonna get done still when our next seeds come in the mail. And then of course we have a huge amount that we're gonna be planting right outside. We have all of our corn and our carrots and beets, and of course our potatoes. Now we're gonna be making some changes to how we grew the potatoes last year, so make sure you stick around for that video. We have some tweaks and tricks that we're gonna use for the potato towers to get a better harvest this year than we did last year. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you take a look at last year's potato tower video and you can see what we did. That way you'll know the changes that we make to hopefully get a better harvest this year. We're gonna take all these and we're gonna put them over onto the trays on the window and we're gonna give them a good water. All of our plants are now on our trays. I'm gonna go ahead and give them all a good water and we're gonna put them on our shelf so they can start getting sunshine, hopefully in the next day or so, and start growing. Okay, all the plants have had a good drink. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put them up on the shelf so they can start getting some sunshine. And then we're gonna take you guys outside for a little bit of a tour around the farm. If you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook, you probably haven't seen some of the updates we've done recently and projects that we've had on the go. So we're gonna head outside and show you a couple of things around the farm.
So the skies finally cleared up. I thought I'd get outside and give you guys a little farm tour. This is for our viewers that don't follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll take you guys around the farm, show you some of the projects we've been doing, and show you our future projects this year and some of the projects that are being affected by COVID-19. Let's go have a look and show you what we've been doing. So just behind me here, we installed a new deck. The other deck was rotten, it was falling apart. This was not in the plans for this year, but for safety reasons, we felt that we needed to refurbish the old deck, put some new boards on, make it safe, give the kids a nice place to come outside on a nice sunny day and do their homework. A couple days ago, I spread some goat manure and shavings around our hascat bushes. You guys can actually see hascat bushes are starting to wake up. We're starting to get leaves on them. I put some compost down last fall and I did it a couple days ago. I'm hoping that helps a little bit this year. We're going to stay on top of the watering this year and hopefully we can get a harvest out of our hascat bushes. Just behind me is the wood pile. This is about 4 days worth of wood. Here on the homestead, we cut down the trees, we process them, we cut them with the wood splitter. We still got another 3 weeks probably worth of work on getting the wood for next year. We cut it up, we let it sit outside all summer so it can dry out. It'll sit out here for about 4 or 5 months and then we'll move it downstairs into the wood cellar for next year. Let's go have a look out back and show you guys one of the other big projects I got coming up here in the next couple days. So this is our back field here. We didn't do anything with it last year. This year, I want to rototill it. Yes, I said rototill it by hand. Eventually, guys, we're going to get a tractor and then I'll be able to get a PTO driven rototiller to pull behind the tractor. But for now, we just have that little tiny garden tiller that I picked up for just over $200 last year. We're going to rototill this. This is where we're going to plant our corn. If you guys saw in the hurricane video from September, we lost all our corn last year. That was devastating for us. This year, we're going to plant corn again. We're not going to give up. We could have another strong hurricane this fall, but the hurricane we had last year was very rare for New Brunswick, so I'm hoping this year that doesn't happen. But this is the field that we need to till in the next day or two so we can get it prepared. We got the seeds coming from Vessi Seeds, and we're going to be planting broccoli, cauliflower, corn, whole bunch of yummy stuff because we need to fill our freezer for next year because we don't know how the food shortage is going to affect us here in New Brunswick. I found last summer the barrels, the blue barrels that we had, just not enough rainwater to take care of our garden. July and August, we get very little rain here, and those 2 barrels, I can use them in a couple days and the water's gone. This is a 1,000-liter tote. With this full, this should give me probably a solid 2 weeks worth of water. The only problem is it's got silt inside it. So what I've done is off the gutter, I found a piece of pipe laying around. I wrapped some duct tape around the end and I fed it down to here. I duct taped it down, and with the rain that we had this morning, you guys can kind of see inside there. Let's show you on the outside a little bit better. Here's the water line. Water line's right here. That was just a few hours worth of water. So if we had 2 or 3 days of good solid rain, this 1,000-liter IBC tote would be full. So you guys can see the homestead way in the distance there. And this is our field that's just south of our house here. Our plan in the next 2 to 3 years is to build a barn here. So we are hoping in the next 2 to 5 years to have a barn right here where I'm standing. Hopefully something with about 6 to 8 stalls, maybe a little tack room, and maybe a loft to be able to store our hay in. We want to put it right here. That's a project that we got coming up in the next few years to look forward to. We're going to be sharing that with you guys when it happens. We're hoping to look at getting possibly one of those barn kits. I know you guys watch Lumney Acres. He bought one of those barn kits. That's what we're looking at getting. It's a big job. It's a huge undertaking, but it's something we need here on the homestead so that we can grow. And just behind me here, this is the future home for our pigs. I was hoping to have this cleared and have it all set up and ready for pigs this year. We're not able to go to the United States to Tractor Supply, where we buy all our fencing, electric poultry fencing from. That has set us back probably a full year. I know we were talking about having pigs this year. Even finding pigs in New Brunswick is really difficult for us. Most of our animals come from Nova Scotia because that's where the farms are. But for us this year, it doesn't look like pigs are going to be an option. I am still going to get the field ready and get it all prepared for next spring, because around here the snow doesn't melt till middle or end of April, and then you're rushing to build your enclosure for the pigs when you really want to have your pigs by end of April, early May. So this is a project I got to get on here this summer, but for now we need to get those fields prepared. But hey guys, who doesn't like baby goats? Let's go inside. Let's see how Oreo's doing. I can hear him super excited in here. Every time you come into the garage, he just screams, he's like, come pay attention to me. Let's go in here and see how he's doing. Hey, buddy. How you doing? You need a friend, don't you? Yes, you do. The girls are too big for you right now to be with. This guy is an awesome goat. He is super friendly. He loves attention. We are so happy that we got him. He is going to be an awesome addition to our homestead. But in about 6 months, you're going to be stinky, and no one's going to want to be around you. Thanks for hanging out with us on the farm today, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.